Every time Ramadan comes by, there are new things that come to the forefront of what are those big takeaways, the things that are sitting with you. And for me this month, there are two things that I want to touch upon briefly when I look back at what this month represented to me. The first thing is this concept where Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us that God is sufficient as a shaheed. He is sufficient as a witness. Azza wa Jal, He tells us in the Holy Qur'an, قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِعِبَادِهِ خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. He tells the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, to say, sufficient is Allah as a witness between me and you. Indeed, He is ever concerning His servants, acquainted and seeing. Oftentimes we would see these verses about God being sufficient as a witness in the context of the vitriol, the abuse that the Quraysh inflicted on the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions. And on one end, we think about God is all-seeing. He's al-Basir, right? He knows everything that's happening. But what does it mean to say He is sufficient as a witness? A couple weeks ago during Ramadan, on a Friday, I was trying to get to the Shabazz Islamic Movement Center for Jummah out in Oakland. Our dear teacher, Amir Abdul Malik Ali, was delivering the khutbah. And that spot was about 7 minutes from where I live, so we figured, it's a quick place nearby, we'll get there in a short amount of time. So we leave the house, I'm on MacArthur Boulevard, and I'm waiting at this left turn. I have to make a left turn, it's a couple more blocks, I'd be at the Jummah khutbah in about 2-3 more minutes. I'm staying at this left turn signal, a minute goes by, 2 minutes goes by, and it's still red. Third minute comes, the light is still red, and I'm thinking, all right, let me go 1 block further, go straight instead, and I'll make a left at the next turn to get to this Jummah khutbah. My directionally challenged self did not realize that the next street on MacArthur is not another block, but you get right on to the 580. And so what went from about 3 minutes from being away from that Jummah khutbah, Google Maps so graciously tells me that I'm now 18 minutes away from that Jummah khutbah. I'm fighting through traffic, having to make a whole U-turn around Emeryville to get back to Oakland. And in the moment, I'm seething. You know, the internal agitation. We had everything planned out. We left at the right time. We were going to get there in time to hear the beginning of the khutbah. And now suddenly something that was so unexpected, yet so easily avoidable, is throwing everything off. And I'm coming into Jummah late. And I'm going to get there and be disruptive to the crowd. So I'm sitting there quietly, just trying to drive through, get to Jummah. Some time passes. And after Jummah ends, I think to myself, there is a beauty in our Creator, knowing every single bit of mental agitation, of distress, of turmoil that is happening within ourselves. And that He acknowledges and witnesses all of it and rewards it accordingly. The people who saw me come late to Jummah, they can come up with whatever thoughts they might have had. But God is sufficient as a witness because He always has the full picture. How often are we fighting through so much mental stress, agitation, things that just tick us off in the moment? And we try to restrain and bear patiently and stay the course. And Allah saying, I am sufficient as a witness because for every single thing that you are going through, know that all of it is being accounted by the one who's always watching over you. How many of us, we try to get up during this month to pray and we're fighting through fatigue and exhaustion. And Allah accounts for all of what we're fighting through eternally. Some of us are trying to study for exams in this month while balancing the scheduling of our family, of the iftars, of going to the masjid. And Allah is accounting for all of it. Some people so badly wanted to worship, and they have to take care of loved ones. And they got to look out for the means and the needs of their family. And Allah saying, even that slight internal guilt that you feel for not doing more, even though you were justified in not doing more, I'm accounting for that as well. There is real assurance, power, strength, and knowing God is as sufficient as a witness through everything that we go through in life. This was the first takeaway for me when it came to this Ramadan. The second takeaway is this concept of our faith tradition teaching us that there is real power in prioritizing long-term growth over that short-term fulfillment. Throughout the Qur'an, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us about those who preferred this life over the life to come. People that saw something in the immediate and chased after it, versus those who restrained, stayed balanced, tried to be forbearant, and prioritized the hereafter. And the scholars, they tell us, when it means to act upon real ilm, real knowledge, is to say that I'm going to restrain from that which is immediate for that which is long-lasting. And this is what Ramadan trains us to do with the fasting. And it's a beautiful thing that we go through. Because throughout the day, what is our body doing? It's saying, give me some food. Give me some water. And it's begging you. And it's harping at your brain throughout the day. And you're telling each and every one of those alert signs of your body, I'm going to say no to you in the moment. Because that long-term growth and fulfillment is so much more worth it. That training that we get through our fasting is what we also get through the night prayer. We say, Ya Allah, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm going to put whatever additional food I could have eaten away. I'm going to put hanging out with friends away. And I'm going to stand in prayer in your house of worship. Because the power and strength I'm going to get through investing in the long term is greater than whatever short-term, fleeting fulfillment I may get. We want to be believers that stay grounded and saying, Ya Allah, you've given us the blueprint to hold back on what is immediate, because on the stuff that is long-term, that's where the true growth lies. When we leave this month of Ramadan, we want to carry that same mindset. Long-term growth and fulfillment over that short-term satiation. Because what happens in the dunya? You're in that second rakat of the Asr prayer. Suddenly, a text message that you haven't responded to for days becomes the most urgent thing in your mind to say, I gotta rush through this prayer to get back to this person who's been asking, when are we gonna hang out? The email notifications, Meg from finance asking you for some document, all of these things where we feel, oh, it's urgent, I gotta rush to it, I gotta respond to it. And Islam is telling us the dunya is not that urgent. You could slow down and respond to that email an hour later, that text message a few hours later. The prayer is training us to say you being grounded and steady in the moment is better for your long-term growth than rushing from email to text to notification. And this is a product of capitalism. Capitalism speeds up everything. We got to produce more. We got to exploit more workers. We got to extract more from the earth. And so you're left thinking, I got to move more quickly through this dunya, respond and text and act and behave. Whereas Islam is telling us when you slow down, that's where that real power lies. We want to be those that can say no to those urges in the moment so that our long-term growth and stability towards chasing Allah Azza wa Jal is firm. As we think about these two lessons, God being sufficient as a witness in all that we struggle through, and long-term growth being real power over short-term fulfillment, we think about how these two lessons carry into the days after Ramadan. I want to leave you all with a statement. People often ask, I want to make sure my Ramadan gets accepted. Everything that I tried to do. And it basically boils down to, for it to be accepted, more is expected. For your Ramadan to be accepted, more has to be expected of you in the days of Shawwal. to really honor the greatest of months that God Almighty has given you is to say, Ya Allah, the way I move now in this month after Ramadan is going to be different than what I was doing before Ramadan. And we already have a structure when the Prophet tells us, alayhi salatu wassalam, fast the 6 days of Shawwal, any 6, and you get the reward of an entire year of fasting. He is guiding us, alayhi salatu wassalam, to start structuring the month after Ramadan, to figure out which days am I fasting, how am I prioritizing that so the momentum of Ramadan continues. If you've been reading half a page of Qur'an throughout Ramadan, keep it going. And today, especially on Eid, don't let go of those habits. Just take a couple minutes away while you're at someone's house and do the extra Qur'an. You've been hitting some more of your prayers, stay steady on that through the month of Shawwal and beyond. You start praying Taraweeh every night, just pray 2 additional rakats now in the days of Shawwal. Ya Allah, for my Ramadan to be accepted, I will expect more from myself in these days of Shawwal. The most important thing in addition to our worship is we got to show up for ourselves and our community and the oppressed. I don't have to tell y'all twice. This country is burning through $1 billion a day to bomb and pillage our brothers and sisters in Iran. May Allah accept those who have been murdered from amongst the shuhada, from amongst the martyrs. And they are murdering people on behalf of the corporate, oil interests, military interests, and the Zionists. I don't have to tell you about the 15 million in Sudan been displaced. I don't have to tell you about the $30 billion budget ICE has in this country to rack up and disappear people. All of these are signs from God Almighty to say, oh, believers, wake up. There is an urgency for you to tend to the needs of the oppressed, be it the unhoused down the street or the dua you must continue to make, even after Ramadan, for your brothers and sisters from Gaza to Lebanon to Kashmir to Afghanistan. The capacity that you had in Ramadan, even while fasting, to stand in prayer for hours, that capacity has to be channeled towards the worship of God and the service upliftment of His creation. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from amongst those who are the sources of ease and healing for all of the oppressed around us. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina wa habibina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Allah, you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. We beseech you by your names. You are As-Salam, our source of peace, and Al-Qawi, our source of strength. We thank you for gathering us here on this blessed day of Eid, and Ya Allah, we ask that you accept our Ramadan from us. Write us amongst those who bore witness to Laylatul Qadr, and that we observe that night in a way that was pleasing to you. Ya Allah, as the days of Shawwal, of Dhul Qa'dah, of Dhul Hijjah come upon us, let us be those that carry the spirit of Ramadan in every day to come. That we have increased in our worship of you, in our prayer, and our recitation of your Qur'an, and our dhikr, remembrance of you. And Ya Allah, let us be those who are sources of healing, upliftment, and comfort to the oppressed, the downtrodden, and the weak, both those in our community and those across this world. Ya Allah, we ask that you grant a full liberation to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Grant the best of ease and liberation to our brothers and sisters in Sudan and Lebanon. Grant ease and healing to our brothers and sisters in Iran, and end, Ya Rabbal Alameen, this military conquest and empire that is inflicting damage on so much of this world. Ya Allah, we ask that for those who have passed away, grant them the best of forgiveness. We make a special brother for our 26-year-old son, Ibrahim Rafat Shahata, who passed away today. Ya Allah, grant them the best of maghfirah. We make a special dua for the father of Sophia, Sayyid Baqir Hassan. Grant him and all those who are struggling the best of healing. Ya Allah, as we end this khutbah, let us be those who spread salams to those we know and those we don't know, even in this gathering. And let us be those who carry the spirit of Ramadan in the days to come. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.